Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. Honest wife confessed she have a /ex with her colleague, and this is how I tell our children. Let me start saying that this is not a rant or anything, just a story about how I and my ex-wife deal with our divorce. Hope this can help anyone who is going through the traumatizing time of being cheated on. Allow me to start with some backstory. I'm 68, meet my wife, F67. In high school when we were 15 and 14 respectively, we became great friends through the books of Mario Benedetti, and once we finished high school, we thought that was it since a few people maintain contact with their high school friends. 3 years later, we meet again, this time under critical circumstances. Chile went through our infamous coup d'etat, and since we went to the same college, after me dropping mining engineering, we start to hang out again for security, since I had a car and can drive her safely home. Through all 1973 we became great friends again, and by 1974 we started a relationship. In 1980, we tied the knot and got married. She was happy, I was happy, we both land good jobs as teachers in our respective areas. In 1989 we had our first kids, 2 daughters we love with all our soul, Eliana and Gabriella, and by 1996, we had our son, Alan. Everything seems to be great, and it was like that till 2012, where, after 32 years of marriage, she cheated on me with a colleague on a student's trip. She came back from that trip on a Sunday. I pick her up and we had a very silent trip back home. That was the moment when I knew something was wrong. A few hours later, I was in bed and she was sitting on it, and that's when she dropped the bomb. Thankfully, she didn't do it the same as most stories here. She said that she needed to apologize and that she needed to be honest. She confesses having sex with her colleague, and that she knew that was a deal breaker to me. I probably cried myself to sleep that night. Monday came and we went on our lives as nothing happened, but before I leave, I told her that we were gonna have a talk at night. That night we talk about everything, why she did it, what she expected to happen after that, and if she planned to hide it. As usual, she was completely honest. She explained to me that her affair was a stupid decision she made. She knew, after the rush from the sex ended, that she would tell me about it, and she was expecting me to divorce her since she knew that cheating was a deal-breaker for me. A week after that conversation, we hired a lawyer to help us divide our assets bought in the marriage. She bought my part of the house, we sold our cars and start the proceedings. I left the house a week later when I found an apartment to rent. 2 weeks after that, we asked our daughters to come back, so we could break the news to her, since our son already knew, because me leaving the house is not something we could hide. We knew it was wrong, but we lied to our youngest son. He was in a complicated age. The divorce wasn't something that would help, but knowing the real reason for the divorce wasn't gonna help either. We did tell the truth to our daughters, and I asked them to please, even when the situation was bad, they don't take it on their mother, since she might have failed as a partner, but she never failed as a mother. They refuse. But thankfully, they agree to keep the truth from their brother. The law divorce in Chile dictates that we need to be living in different places for a year before being granted our divorce, and a year later, and after a really hard year, where we deal with the repercussion of her affair from our daughters, the moods of our son for the divorce, and the stress of co-parenting, we reached the last week. I called her and asked her to meet me in a coffee shop. We had coffee and pastries and I asked her on a date. For your interest? No, I wasn't planning on taking her back. 3 days later, I visit my former home and arrive dressed in a good suit, and bring her a nice dress for her. I take her to dinner, we went to a tanqueria, we dance as we used to, and I drive her home. We had a cup of coffee and a shot of pisco on the terrace I built, and she finally asked me why I take her on a date. I kissed her hands and look at her, very sad, and tell her that she knew why. We both cried. I told her that she was the greatest love of my life, and she will ever be. She said that no matter what she did or what the future holds, I would also be the love of her life. Once I managed to calm myself, I kissed her cheek and left. The next morning, we meet in our local tribunal, and we divorced. Since then, thankfully, she managed to repair her relationship with our daughters, and when our son turned 20, she told him the truth about the divorce. The relationship with our son is a bit rough since we lied to him, but I explained to him that we thought it was the best course of action since he was going through a complicated stage of his life. It's gonna be 7 years since our divorce, and my ex-wife is my friend. Our daughters left the resentment for her affair, and my son is still working on that. And if you're looking for the reason why I took her on a date a few days from our divorce being official, it was because I knew that would be the last time I would call her my wife. We had a very successful marriage with a tragic ending, but I don't regret marrying her. She gave me the most wonderful gifts ever. My kids, yeah, my daughters are 31 and my son 24, but they will always be my little princesses and my boy will always be my tiny squire, and with them, my grandkids. I really hope my story can help someone because there is life after the life you built. It might not be the one you pictured it, but if your partner is completely honest, it's possible to forgive. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.